Hello, everyone. Ryan here with another Uncomplication. I think I have a good episode for you today. I am going to talk about crypto. Gonna check back in with some of the predictions that I've made and look at liquidation maps and all that fun stuff that I know that you love. Let's be honest. I also want to talk a little bit about money because this is a topic of great interest to me, and I've come to realize how much trauma I have associated with money and how much that has put me in this position of confronting the world, wrestling with it. I have had an extreme amount of pain and frustration with the whole YouTube thing because I'm not willing to play into this attention economy bullshit. I hate the way our culture is currently set up. So it's this endless sea of individuals all clamoring for your attention, all wanting the clicks and the views and selling the product. And I don't know what's worse. In the old days, everyone just worked for these faceless companies that they gave their entire life and energy to, but they were getting a pension and they were getting benefits and they had enough to come home on the weekends and have barbecues. Versus what I perceive a lot is you're either working for a company and you've kind of got that 9 to 5 grind culture slave uh, experience. It's not as bad as slavery. Let's be clear. Or you are trying to make it on your own and you're trying to start a business and there's all the ways to do it. And it also makes me a little disgusted because I see so many businesses and things that are being marketed, and 90% of them seem to boil down to I'm going to make you rich, pay me and I'll tell you how. And invariably those situations are ones where that person is only making money because they are telling you that they're going to make money. And Scott Ferris, or whatever his name is, Tim Ferris, I had a couple authors blending in my mind. Tim Ferris was only able to make it to a 4-hour work week because he wrote a book and then put the title 4-hour work week on it because it got attention. That's the true story of that. He did a Google Ads side-by-side comparison, seeing what titles performed the best, and the 4-hour work week was kind of like a last minute, like, oh, this might be interesting, and it just performed so well that that was the title of the book, and now the motherfucker can go and work 4 hours a week because he convinced enough people that it was possible. Anyway, I digress. You can tell there's a little bit of trauma here, a little bit of aggravation, because I have continued to fight this system. I don't want to just take people's money without offering something of real value. And let's talk about that a little bit. So I'm going to get to the crypto, but this morning I was on this call with all of these other adults that were trying to figure out their own money trauma and get to the point where we're able to receive the gifts that are coming our way. And I personally have shut that off. I don't want to be involved. I see the strings, I see the trap, and this was my character for what money is in my imagination. This fairy godmother who entices you with all of these beautiful ways that life could be, but it's really a puppet on the hands of this insidious, enslaving device, this grind culture, this capitalist, what have you. And so what I'm trying to do this week is to change my characterization of money from that to the abundant, great creator who has all the resources that I need to help it in its mission of creating beauty and art and creativity in the world. So anyway, I have a guest who will probably be on the show in the next couple of weeks who has been helping me work through a lot of these issues. I just think it's interesting because we all come to money with these backstories. A lot of it comes from our childhood, our parents, what we observed, what we want to be, what we don't want to be. And it all ties in here in this crypto market because many of us came here as an escape from all of that. And it was this idea that we could take our own financial wealth and freedom into our own hands and not rely on these institutions and these previous systems that trap the human spirit. And then we found, at least this is my feeling, is that while that potential is there, and a lot of these technologies were created with that vision of a decentralized, human-hearted kind of financial promise, uh, this whole system has just been infiltrated and corrupted from the inside out by all the same scheming dirtbags that fouled up the first one. And we now see them, going to prison, and these companies going into uh, bankruptcy, and this, that, and the other. And you just see how when you're scaffolding a culture, even a crypto culture, on a greed and attention based economy, it eventually all comes crashing down. So, before I get too into the crypto stuff, which I'm about to do, I will say that part of this bounty, this creative money making exchange, I've been enjoying so much creating and selling art. So I have previously auctioned off this painting and made a great friend in the process. Um, the guy that bought this, I've been talking to on Instagram, and I'm just really inspired by him and his connections and his work in the NFT space, and so anyway, some positive benefits there. I'm about to list another painting on eBay. You can check out the link in the description if you want to own a one of a kind original. I've also got the NFT still for sale. There's now 6 owners, and there's 20 total items, so there's 14 left. And this has been really cool to see this piece of unique digital art become a collectible. And it's the first of several NFT projects that I plan to launch. So yeah, consider this the Genesis collection. But I have been really enjoying stepping into this identity as an artist, and it suits me, and it's awesome. So anyway, where do people put their money? You can put your money in the bank and watch it not make interest, or you can invest it and hopefully see it grow over time. I was just curious what the largest investments by market cap were. So where is the most money sitting? If you want to think about people working and running their companies or doing their businesses or getting a paycheck and then putting that cash, that fiat currency into some sort of an investment, where are people putting it by market cap? So by the most wealth held. And it was interesting to me. I was just curious, but gold is number 1 and silver is number 6, and in between are all of these top tech companies. So you've either got it in this hard metal, right? This precious metal, or you have it in a technology that is powering what the world is doing, or part of the consumer landscape, I think in the case of Apple, and even Microsoft. So you're either buying these hard assets, or you're buying into the biggest enablers of modern digital capitalism. And it's interesting, Bitcoin is 16th, which is still pretty damn impressive for how it started. Bitcoin having a larger market cap than Walmart stock. Even today, with a dollar equivalence of $23,000 per Bitcoin. So here we've got the hard assets with the tech in between, the sandwich, and here's that potentially all-in-one, blockchain with the hard scarcity built in. No other cryptos that I saw are on the list though, so it's really Bitcoin. I don't think I saw any other crypto here, but maybe there will be another one someday. I don't see Ethereum. That would be the next one. So let's just see, where is Ethereum? Ethereum is 54. Still pretty impressive, right? Anyway, okay, so what am I yammering about? Let's jump into the Bitcoin price chart. I was, just thinking about that and thinking about this being, Bitcoin being at least as good an asset as a lot of these tech companies, right? A tech company can make a few bad moves, have a bad quarter, and see its price drop. There can be, you can see something collapse and just go away. That's very different from gold, which presumably is not going to melt anytime soon, but the price is fluctuating. And as I've said here quite a few times, I believe this, the value of anything is only and always what you can get someone else to pay you for it. And so in a lot of these cases, the value is not pinned to anything tangible, it's pinned to a story. It's pinned to our collective cultural belief of what the future holds. And I think the fact that there is so much money tied up in gold is actually a vote of very little confidence for our culture, because you shouldn't need to be lugging around gold bricks to maintain your value in a society that values people and work and communication and collaboration. And so we've got this sort of future looking with the tech, and we've got this backup plan with the gold. And coming in at 16th place is Bitcoin. And so I just bring that up because I still believe in Bitcoin specifically, crypto in general, as a market that will continue to exist and will continue to have these cycles of attention economy, fear and greed, chaos. And so as I look at the jump that we've had in Bitcoin price as it's bounced off the bottom here, I'm just keeping that all in check. And I've been buying Bitcoin. I've been dollar cost averaging. That's my plan right now. And it's beautiful because I don't have to care. It's wonderful. And I can't wait to see prices go up, but I hope that we have enough sideways movement so that when they go up high so that I can cash out. That's my plan this time. Okay, but in the meantime, around the beginning of the year, January, I was kind of talking about this halving cycle and predicting that we're going to see a lot more sideways motion before we get to, let's look at the BLX, one of these halving events. So here's what I was drawing on the chart previously. And yeah, just kind of, I was messing around with some other stuff, but yeah, sideways motion. I think I just had it crawling along the bottom and then expecting that we will have another cycle like we've now had 4 of that matches this logarithmic regression curve. And the irony is that no sooner had I said that the price jumped up by 30%. And I even find myself wondering, was I wrong? It sucks whenever you buy crypto, sell crypto, or make a statement publicly on a YouTube video about crypto. All of a sudden, I'm brought back into having to care again, and it's obnoxious. But what do I think is going to happen? Do I think that this is the blast off to the moon? Is this the end of the bear cycle and I was wrong and it's not going to be until the next halving? I don't know. Like I said, I think the longer it goes sideways, the more upside potential we have. The longer the accumulation, the bigger the cause, the bigger the move to the upside. So it's in everyone's interest to have a longer cycle before the next big run up. It rinses the slate clean and it allows the narrative to shift substantially. It's hard to imagine that we would ever get back to all-time highs right after a meltdown where you've got, BlockFi is where I was previously keeping a bunch of my crypto because it was giving me 6 and 7% interest on some of these things. And fortunately, I got all of that out, but a lot of people didn't. And a lot of people still have their crypto tied up in BlockFi. We saw Celsius collapse. We saw a number of these platforms crater. And so what is the sentiment? What is the narrative? Are people going to be trusting enough of the Bitcoin story to volley into it in droves to drive a massive price cycle right now? I still don't think so. That doesn't mean that we couldn't see a surge up to, I put on the chart here, this is a standard textbook Wyckoff accumulation zone that I scaled to what I, approximated as plausible. But just to see, you got these big hits on the bottom, you've got these marches back up, you've got further dips. And so, yeah, we went up by 30%, but my bullhorns are not on. I'm still very, cautiously witnessing this cycle play out. And one of the things that I'm always referring back to, and especially before I make a video like this more and more, are the liquidation maps. So I talked about this in the last video, but where is the liquidity right now in Bitcoin? Where will people's positions get wiped out? Where will the market makers recoup on the exchanges that they've made? Remember, a market maker is always on the other side of your exchange. So whether the price is going up or the price is going down, they are always willing to make that trade with you because the motions of the market are predominantly able to recapture that liquidity. So as I look at this right now, my prediction for the next couple days or weeks, there's this little pocket of liquidity right above the current price. So 23,000 up to, 23.7, not quite to 24. So everything below 24, there's this little pocket of liquidity. So I wouldn't be surprised if we spike up and hit that. But look at all the liquidity that's hanging down here between 15,000 and 21,000. If you just look at this, you can see that it's weighted to that bottom. It's weighted to the downside. That's where the liquidity is. And my belief is that we just continue to go down and build the liquidity up here, people with their shorts, and go down, recapture this liquidity while we're building new liquidations above, and then it will reverse and it'll go back and it'll reclaim the liquidity that is above the price action. And it will do that and do that and do that as sort of the market maker's mini game up until the point that there's enough narrative momentum to catalyze the next bull run. And then we're in kind of the bull run economics of it. And that's where we see, like we did last time, and you can always refer to the Wyckoff chart school page. This is a great one just to kind of understand how these cycles of overbought, oversold happen. But when we get to these Wyckoff distribution events, the supply is squeezed. Scarcity is accentuated so that price goes up and up and up and up. And then there are these different moments, the buying climax, the point of preliminary supply. This is where after a big movement to the upside, the large interests start to unload shares and kind of spike the price back down and get it trapped into this range. And that is where they're able to, after building a cause for months and months and months, let's go back to my BLX. After building a cause for months and months and months, this is where kind of the bigger interests take over, and we see this surge in price, and then it gets trapped into a range and sold and sold and sold before the price gets driven back down. And like I said, I talked about this, and then price went up by 30%. Was I wrong? I don't know. I'm not really here to give you predictions. I know that's what I talk about, but that's just because I'm trying to think through the psychology and the dynamics of the market. And this is still kind of the map that I see. So take that for what it's worth. But on the weekly, which is where I've been kind of hanging out, checking, it's funny, I actually looked at a 3-minute chart the other day, and I was like, oh man, I'm so glad I'm not back here. That's too much attention. But weekly, that's a great view for me. And yeah, we had a purple week last week, and we saw the RSI start to turn around. Okay, my next making good on what I promised I would talk about, and I know these videos go long, but let's look at some of the other cryptos and maybe glean a little bit from what they're doing. The thing with Bitcoin, before I go there, is I see the altcoin market as this like lagging but even more volatile, which is a good thing if you're trying to make money. Everything lags behind Bitcoin, and it lags based on its market cap, such that if Bitcoin right now is from all-time high, and this is approximate, but so these are Fibonacci extensions. I have a lot drawn on here, but from our previous all-time high to our bottom, we're not even to the 0.236. And that's all just to say that this is kind of the golden pocket, between the 0.618, 0.702, 0.786. This is where the real fight is next time around to find support to blast off to all-time highs. So we have to get back into the zone eventually to battle for an all-time high. And we are, even with the current price action to the upside, we are way down. We're way down here. We're still doing a lot of work. We're still moving sideways, and this is a weekly chart, so you can see how far we have to go to get back into this kind of crucial zone. There are also smaller scale battles happening. So if I kind of look at this big drop and then this as sort of a local high, a local peak, and I draw a Fibonacci retracement here, I always think this is really interesting. So let's go to the daily just to get a little bit more a better look at this. So here's a great example. So again, the Fibonacci's, they're really useful. They really show where the battle lines are. And from this previous peak, we came down, and then you can see this, very, very well respecting these lines, as resistance and support, breaking down and then kind of fighting in here. And then we kind of came up again and came down, and then we came up. We're always hitting this 0.618 line. And then we start to have this next battle. And you can see that all of this price action right now has been about finding support on top of that 786, right? So even on this smaller scale, we have a lot of, insight into how and where we're going to meet resistance, where we need to find support. And if we break down below the 786, we're going to be, it's almost like you flip the whole thing over and now you've got resistance where you formerly had support. Okay, so the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I want to show you my theory here is that when you look at these other altcoins, they are lagging behind Bitcoin. They're doing the same things, they're just lagging behind Bitcoin, and when they make their moves, it happens in a much shorter time frame. Or not much, but a proportionately shorter time frame. So if I go to ETH now, and I was previously drawing these same retracement. So here's from all-time high, and you can see we're still battling to get back into this green pocket. But then from our local, our previous local high down to the previous bottom, it's doing just what Bitcoin was doing, it's just a little bit behind. And so we also broke down, we were battling with these fibs, got rejected off the 618 all the way down, and now Ethereum is just coming to its 618, whereas Bitcoin was battling with that. Where did I have that? It was doing that a couple months ago, that it was battling at the 618, and it has already kind of played out a little bit farther. So here's Ethereum, it's still on the bottom. Here is Bitcoin. It's already gone through that move. And so in order for Ethereum to meaningfully break out, it also kind of requires that Bitcoin is strong. And let's go to Ethereum again. So is Ethereum going to break through and get to its 702 and find some support up here? I don't think so, because I think that Bitcoin is going to go down. It's going to drag Ethereum down. So these guys, the altcoins, are all trying to make their same moves. They're just, it's like the weight of this star pulling them. It's like the gravity of this celestial body. If it's not moving, they have no chance of moving. And so let's now go to another altcoin that has a smaller market cap. Let's just look at ADA. And ADA has kind of been doing its own funky little dance, but if we go to the same relative time scale here, so ETH, I was looking at from about August of 22. So ADA, this is August of 22. So let's do the same retracements here. So now ADA is even farther down. So it is also doing the same dance, but it is lagging behind even Ethereum. So now it was just getting up and battling against this 0.5. Whereas you can see Ethereum did that battle with the 0.5, probably a couple times. I'm not sure that it's even comparable yet. We're still way down here. We haven't even got up to the 618. And so if you're going to make a prediction about a particular altcoin popping off, there's lots of reasons that can happen. There's a lot of funny business too. There's a lot of if you are hearing about something, it's probably too late, and the people that are telling you that, the news outlets or the influencers, they already have their position built and they are using that outlet to sell. To sell that vision that, oh, this is the next stock that's going to pop off, this is the next crypto that's going to pop off. If you're buying that expectation, you've already missed the chance. A lot of people got caught with their pants down, myself included, with a few of these altcoins because they were setting up for these big, beautiful moves. They were battling with their own fibs, even against all-time highs, and they were setting up so beautifully to make these big moves. But Bitcoin was already through its cycle. It was already coming down, and some of these different cryptos never popped off. I think that's true of a lot of the big ones in the space that people talk about. XRP was a great example in the Bitcoin bull run, because here it is from its previous huge all-time high in 2018 that a lot of the people that I was following, were just wanting to see that happen again. It was able to get back and just start flirting with those golden pocket potentials when Bitcoin had already played out its cycle and dragged the whole thing back down. So is this a time to be FOMOing into all of the altcoins? I don't think so. Is it a time to be picking some winners and dollar cost averaging in? When I say winners, I mean who is likely to still be here in the next cycle. And it is likely, in my mind, to be the Bitcoins, the Ethereums, let's just go real quick and look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, XRP, Binance, Cardano, Doge, Polygon, Solana. Isn't it gross that Doge is above Solana? Anyway, Polkadot, Litecoin. But you got to be careful, because a lot of these, I don't know. We saw Luna collapse. A lot of people knew that Luna was sort of rolling the dice, quite literally, with whether or not the algorithmic stable coin was actually going to stay stable. But any of these things can implode at any moment, so there is no real security in life. However, these are likely, in my mind, to be the the ones to play with when the casino opens again for the next bull run. So a lot of yammering. This is probably long, always is. Holy shit. Go check out my auction on eBay. Another beautiful piece of art, could be yours to hang. You could be one of 20 total owners of this NFT, and it is it's a really cool one. I think as far as the NFTs I've seen out in the space, this is pretty dope. So you could be one of the owners. Yep, that's all I got. Loving rockets, y'all. Cheers.